I came up with the name, the foreign philosophy, kind of like a pun, flossing, philosophy. And then obviously I'm an international student, and that's something I think is so important, is to kind of like say to people, you have an option to move abroad. You can do it. It's tough, but you can do it. And here we are today.
Welcome, guys, to another episode. I'm excited today because we are going abroad to Sweden. We've got Negi with us today, who is a dental student, and she went abroad to study dentistry. So for anybody that's considering that option, this episode is for you. And we're going to find out about what Negi's been up to. She runs the Foreign Philosophy Instagram page. I need to get her organizing my Instagram page because I love the way she's done her Instagram page. Make sure to check that out. The description is in the comments below. So Negi, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes. So just tell us a little bit about where are you right now? What's happening? We've just had the lockdown. Are you well?
I'm really well, thank you. So Sweden, I was fortunate enough to not have a lockdown here. Sweden was one of the only countries that didn't go into quarantine or anything like that. So life has been going on as normal for me a little bit.
All right.
So yeah, I'm in Stockholm, and today was my first day of my second year of dental school. So everything is on Zoom.
Okay.
As per COVID guidelines. So it's a little bit different, but still, I'm still very excited.
All right, fantastic. So tell us, why did you decide to become a dentist? Why did you want to do dentistry?
Okay, so it took me a while to decide on dentistry. I flipped back and forth between between medicine and dentistry for a while, since kind of like my GCSE years. And I finished my A-levels thinking that I would apply for medicine, and then I didn't get the grades. And then I started a biomedical sciences degree with a view thinking like this would be a stepping stone towards medicine. So I still had medicine in my mind when I did my first degree. It wasn't until about halfway through that I kind of saw the realities of medicine, because I was on the medical campus with the dental students, the medical students, and all of the research students. So I kind of saw firsthand the medical school life, the dental school life, and the benefits and the cons of both lifestyles, like after uni, post uni. So then I decided, to look more into dentistry. I had grown up with many dentists in my family.
Right.
My parents are actually dentists as well. So I never really considered that an option, because I had always kind of wanted to be different. But then I knew that I wanted a global career that I could apply over a global platform and would really make a difference to people's lives. I was on the research end of things for so long, and I was craving like a clinical application of all the research. Essentially, I was craving that like patient contact. I really wanted to be part of a community, wherever I was, kind of thing. So if I moved country there, if I moved country here, I would still be able to kind of slip into a community and really make a difference to people. So that was one of the major driving forces for my kind of dental career choice.
And once you made that choice, was it straightforward in terms of getting the application together?
In terms of finding work experience and everything like that, it's a little bit difficult. I think, as every prospective applicant agrees with me there. You're just calling around all the time, begging for work experience. UCAS is kind of a lengthy process, but I actually ended up getting... I applied twice to dentistry in England and got rejected both times.
Right.
I think it was pretty nasty. Yeah. Okay. So the first time round, I had just graduated with a 2-1 from biomedical sciences. and I only got one interview from King's College, which was my university where I did my bachelor's degree in biomed. So I thought I had a chance. They'd want to kind of recruit their own,
Yeah.
So I did the interview. I got a good UK CAT score. It was the only interview I got, and I gave it my best shot. However, I ended up getting rejected in the end. And that's when I kind of thought about moving elsewhere, because I was fortunate enough to be actually born in Sweden, so that automatically gave me an option.
Okay, so you're born in Sweden.
Yeah, I was born in Sweden, but I moved to England when I was about 1 year old.
Okay.
So I didn't grow up here, and I didn't know the language or anything like that.
Yeah.
So Sweden was kind of like a bold move because of the language. So if you move abroad to kind of Riga or Czech Republic or Hungary, you see a lot of the courses still being taught in English.
Yeah.
And you get like a tiny language course on the side, like your degree is still in English. So moving to Sweden, I had to put time aside. It ended up being 2 years to actually learn the language first. Wow. To apply to dental school.
Okay. So if we just go rewind a little bit, the first time you got rejected, and Sweden started becoming an option. What else was on the cards at that time?
It was reapplying again in England.
Yeah.
Really, I took another UK CAT course. I think it was Kaplan. I did, and that really helped me. I loved that course. But it was just the same application again, and rewriting the personal statement, more interview prep. But sometimes it's just luck of the draw.
The second time round, was it, did you get more interviews? How did that go?
No, I didn't even get one interview the second time round. Yeah, it was straight up rejections. And I was in Sweden at the time, and Sweden was tough at first. So I was really hoping that I would be able to come home. Because all of my friends at university were also getting into medicine and dentistry, and it kind of had been smooth sailing for them. And I was the only one that was kind of like trying to keep my head above water at times.
Yeah. So what keeps you going through that? Because for a lot of people that just means, it's not for me. Let me get there.
I just that was my goal. Like, that's all I wanted to do, and nothing would stop me from getting to that goal.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, I've kind of built resilience over the years, and I just kept going. Like, if you want to do something, if you truly want to do something, then you'll get to it in the end, no matter how long it takes.
Yeah. And what was your family saying around that time in terms of encouragement or discouragement, or reality check time? What were your parents saying?
I mean, I got a lot of reality checks along the way from myself, but my parents continued to be really supportive. I mean, I think I cried buckets of tears that first year that I moved to Sweden and got rejections in England. And, there were times where I was just desperate to come home, and my parents were telling me, come home, you don't need to do this. And I was just like, I have to do this, you don't understand. Because I had nothing in England. I wasn't going to put myself through a third round of UCAS applications. I just wasn't. So yeah, I just stuck to my guns.
Right. So okay, at this stage, you've tried twice. You're now thinking Sweden is the next place I'm going to try. What's that application process like? Where do you even start in terms of knowing how to apply to dental school in Sweden?
So there is a lot of online support. They have kind of like a portal like UCAS where it takes you through all of the steps. And for international students like myself, they have a helpline where you can ring up and you can upload all of your grades, and they automatically check if you are qualified enough for the course, and then what you need for the course. So from the get-go, I uploaded everything, and I knew the two things that I was missing, and that was Swedish and physics, because I dropped physics at GCSE. So that portal was really, really useful. And the good thing is, in Sweden, you don't need work experience
Okay.
and you don't need a personal statement. It's just based on grades. And
Okay, so
to
explain
me,
that. Why do they do it like that?
I think it's because Sweden is just such a socialist country in terms of like equal opportunity. They try to really level out the playing field as much as possible.
Mm.
So if you're a hardworking student and you keep going with the grades, and no matter how many times it takes, there's no limits on like applications or anything like that, and you even have 10 choices for uni degrees.
Wow.
So I think it's just all about giving as many people possible a chance. And it's not even about business or money, because education here is for free.
Wow.
So it's just literally about equal opportunity.
How about for international students?
For international students, the same rules apply. For within the EU, education is still free. Outside of the EU, you have to obviously pay.
Okay.
And with that, you kind of see privatization creeping into Sweden a little bit more these days. So lots of courses are now beginning to internationalize and take in more students, because of course education is partly a business as well.
So how do they, because there must be a limit to how many dental students any of the universities can have, how do they
Yeah.
differentiate or put a cap on how many students they can take in?
Okay, so basically all your grades are merged together and you have something called an average merit point. And then sort of like the higher the average of all of the students, the higher the average merit point and the higher the cutoff kind of thing. So there's a cutoff merit point where everybody below that doesn't get in. And then also I think there are 3 groups where you can apply into 3 different categories.
Yeah.
So you can apply with grades, which like grades straight out of high school. You can apply with grades where you have kind of completed after high school. So maybe you haven't got the grades you've wanted, so you've had to do one or two more years in adult college to get your grades up. And that's what I did. I applied for that second category. And then there's 2 more. And then another category is where you do kind of like a aptitude test. Your grades don't matter. It's just about the score in the aptitude test. And if you get a high score in that, then you're kind of guaranteed to get in. Yeah. And then the last one is an interview and an essay that you write, kind of like a motivational letter. Yeah. And you can apply to all 4 of these groups if you want, just to heighten your chances. There's no limit.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's pretty good application process.
it opens up your mind, because
yeah,
we just know you got to do your UCAT, your BMAT,
exactly.
your personal statement, UCAS. That's the only option.
Yeah, yeah, I know, exactly. It's so crazy when you come abroad and you see that, you know, they really want you to just get in and succeed. It's kind of like a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, talk to us about starting dental school there in Sweden. So the learning Swedish part, you said it took you 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was before you then started to do the tests?
Yeah, so you mean in dental school? Which tests?
Before dental school, before you before submitting your grades.
Oh, okay. So you mean like Swedish language aptitude test kind of thing?
Yes, because you're saying you're missing Swedish and
yes.
something else that you were missing.
Yeah. So you had to do like kind of Swedish immigrant school. That's what it's called, directly translated. And then you go on to like higher college education, Swedish, in order to get to the level that you need for university academic language.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I had to also do kind of high school physics as well in Swedish, which was just a mess.
Okay, so what was first year like? What's your university called?
My university is Karolinska.
Karolinska, okay.
So the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm. And first year was, oh God, I remember my first week, I was so nervous. So probably from this chat, you think I'm extremely chatty, like I don't stop. But in Swedish, I mute. I just don't speak because I'm petrified. So
Yeah.
those first few weeks, I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. You know, I'm going to, because this is a career now. This is what I'm here for. And, you know, you have to be competent in Swedish in order to deliver the right care, you know.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of pressure, but baby steps, baby steps.
And in terms of your cohort, how big was the cohort that you started with? Was it easy to get to gel with everybody else?
So the cohort was 120.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty average, to be honest with you. And then a few people like dropped out and, you know, changed course and everything like that. So now we've ended up being just under 100.
Okay.
And it was really easy to get to know everybody. You don't have like the hardcore freshers week like we do in England. It's a little bit more chilled than that.
Yeah.
But equally as kind of like you get to gel with everybody and you kind of find your clique, and it was really nice. Everybody was so welcoming.
And in terms of your cohort, do you have a large amount of people that have come from abroad, or is it 99% people from Sweden?
I would say there's two fully international students. So me and this other guy who is Lebanese. And we're the only two, because the thing that deters international students for coming and applying for dentistry here is that you have to learn Swedish first. So naturally, the demographic of international students in dentistry or medicine is just going to be so much lower than for other courses. So it's rare. It's really rare.
And how did the first year go?
First year went really well, actually. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but in biomed, I was failing exams left, right, and center.
Yeah.
But it just shows that when you actually are doing something that you want to do, you know, it's so easy to kind of pass exams.
Yeah.
And in Sweden, they only have pass or fail. There's no pressure of like getting a certain grade.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pass mark is 67. So I would say like a 2-1, high 2-1 equivalent in UK unis. So you still have to, you know, work to a certain degree, but like pass or fail, I mean, it's pretty nice.
Do you find there's less of that competitive side between students?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's not a rat race here as much as it is in England, I think, personally. I mean, all of the older students, they hand down all of their notes. You know, we have like parents, dental parents, and they, you know, form Google Drives for us. They save all of the old tests for us, and they just pass them down. You become like a family here.
Yeah.
And everybody just wants you to succeed, because pass or fail, and and then you get like 5 retests as well. So I mean, everybody's going to pass in the end, you know. Nobody's going to get kicked out for failing or anything like that. It's just a much more friendly environment, as long as you become a good dentist and you want to become a good dentist.
Okay. Is a lot of the material lecture based? Do you get some hands-on during first year? Just talk to us about that.
So it was a lot of theory. I think it's because I go to one of the most traditional institutes in Sweden. It's been around for such a long time. So it's sticking to quite a traditional layout. But towards the end of first year, we got to do tooth anatomy, kind of tooth carving and stuff like that. But because of COVID, we couldn't do it in school. So it was kind of trying to navigate tooth anatomy at home on our own over Zoom. And it wasn't as kind of like giving as I thought it would be, to be honest.
Okay, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And okay, so you're about second year, so you started today. What are you looking forward to during the year?
I'm really looking forward to radiology. So we get to start to go into clinics and take x-rays and everything like that.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting, because I literally just got my first job as a dental nurse
All right.
in Stockholm, because I don't know if it's the same in England, but in Sweden, a lot of clinics like to employ dental students as their dental nurses.
Okay.
Um,
That wouldn't happen here.
that's not allowed in England, right?
Because you need to be GDC
Yeah,
registered. And that just
exactly.
doesn't work out for a dental student. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great opportunity that us dental students get to have in Sweden. And so on my first day, I saw that, I will have to be taking the x-rays, bite wings and stuff like that.
Wow.
So now I'm really going to be able to learn and apply it in real life already. So that's really cool.
That's fantastic. So, okay.
Yeah.
So they allow you to have some scope of practice as a
Yeah.
as a dental student who's working as a nurse. Um,
Yeah.
is it a paid position as well, or is it completely
Yeah.
voluntary?
No, it's paid.
Paid.
Um, it's good pay. It was shocking to me. It's not shocking to my Swedish friends that, like in England we're struggling. We're like, I'll work for free, I swear. you know.
Yeah. And,
But here it's different.
in terms of your first exposure to patients, what year would you start to get that?
I'll start to get that towards the end of second year,
Oh.
where we start learning about caries, and we start taking the x-rays basically.
Yeah.
But first proper exposure would be in third year.
Gotcha. And do the
Yeah.
patients come to the university site, or do you go somewhere else?
No, they come to the university site.
Yeah.
So we have our own kind of dental clinic at the university, where all of the patients come, and yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
At the end, do you have to do any? Do you have to work as a dentist within Sweden for a set amount of time before you can go anywhere else? How does that part work?
So you definitely don't need to do that. We don't have any kind of VT or anything like that.
Yeah.
That got taken away a couple of years ago, I think. And so you can just leave if you would like to. But of course, I mean, it's good to have experience in the country that you've trained in and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think I will end up staying for a couple of years probably.
Yeah.
I just need to feel it out. I've still got 4 more years to decide.
That's it. So anyway, how about your family? How have they felt about you being away in Sweden and they're in England? How's that been, that distance?
Middle Eastern families, they're extremely close. So
What part
I
of the
think it
Middle
was
East? Sorry?
Iran.
Iran, okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, it was tough for them to let go of their firstborn, and send them off, because, they moved to England for me not to move anywhere else in the world, that's why they made the move. So I think it was difficult for them to, adjust. And obviously for me, it was difficult as well. I mean, mum's cooking, come on. But it's been 3 years now, so you get used to it. But every time we say goodbye, I must admit there are a few tears shed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they must be proud though that you've managed
Yeah.
to make your dream a reality. You're on course to getting into become a dentist.
Yeah, I think because they saw the struggle so much when I first moved, they're relieved. And, we were sat down in Italy and my dad looked at me and he said, Negi, you've really made a life in Sweden now. Like, your life is there, there's no coming back to England every 2 months to, pick up some more stuff. Like, everything is here, I've realized, I don't have any storage back in England anymore.
What would you say you've learned from the whole experience of relocating to do dentistry?
Oh my gosh. I think it's just a lot of self-belief, and that motivation definitely comes from within. You can't do things because people are telling you to, because you'll never end up doing things for yourself. And I think that's like a dangerous spiral. I think you really need to take time in learning what you want to do with your life, and then whenever that time comes, just go for it.
Yeah.
And then I would just say, take every opportunity you can.
Yeah. No, just talking to you, you seem like a very self-driven and ambitious individual.
Thank you.
If someone is seriously considering relocating to do dental school in Sweden or anywhere else,
Mm.
what are some things they should ask themselves before committing to it?
Mm. I think moving abroad is very glamorized. You know, everybody loves to say, oh, I used to live here, oh, I used to live there. When you first move, it's definitely not glamorous because you're starting your network again. Do you have the energy for that? You
Yeah.
know, do
So
you have,
explain that. You're starting your network again.
yeah,
Unpack that for us.
sorry, I didn't
So
hear you.
unpack that for us. Starting your network again. What do you mean?
Okay, so, you know, I left all of my friends behind, or, you know, childhood friends that I had grown up with. England was home. I knew the system. I mean, Sweden is a culture shock completely from England. England is, you know, I came from London. It was so multicultural.
Yeah.
It was a shock when I came here. You know, people are colder. It's a, although socialistic country, it's a much more controlled society, you know. So it's definitely different. And, you know, finding new friends, and when you don't speak the language is difficult. So you got to kind of like find the international circles first.
Yeah.
And put yourself out there so much more than you ever would at home.
Mm. So okay,
Yeah.
consider the network side of it, and you know you're moving
Mm,
away from people you've always been around. Are you ready for that?
yeah.
Other things you
Mm.
say people should consider.
Whew, I would consider costs, definitely. Stockholm is a much more expensive city than I thought it would be.
More expensive than
Um,
London?
I would say in terms of living costs, yes. So
Okay.
kind of like food, clothing, everything like that. But I think rent is it's equal,
Okay.
to be honest. Gosh, what else to consider really? I think it's just why I always ask myself, why am I doing this? You
Yeah.
know, am I doing it for me? Am I doing it for other people? Because moving to a new country can be lonely, you know, it takes a toll on your mental health sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
All right.
yeah,
And
that's what I would say.
tell us a little bit about the foreign philosophy. So
Huh.
that sounds very sophisticated. What is that all about?
Okay, so I never thought that I would kind of start up an Instagram for dental school. I didn't know it was a thing at all until, you know, I've always been into like a creativity, and I had been doing like film testimonials for my parents' dental practice. So I've always kind of had like some type of camera in my hand, like just for fun, you know.
Yeah. I
Um,
can see
and
the image quality is stunning. I like this. Yeah.
It's my boyfriend's camera, so
All
all
right.
credit goes to him. um, so yeah, so then an associate that works with my parents, he messaged me and he said, Negi, I really think that you have the capacity to do this type of thing. I really do, like in terms of like personality and stuff like that. And I was umming and ahhing about it. And then I just thought to myself, Negi, you've gone on the longest journey possible to get into dental school. Like, you should definitely try and document it. You're going to thank yourself one day.
Yeah.
So, you know, I came up with the name, the foreign philosophy, kind of like a pun, you know, flossing, philosophy. And then obviously I'm an international student, and that's something I think is so important, is to kind of like say to people, you know, you have an option to move abroad. You can do it. It's tough, but you can do it.
Mm.
And here we are today.
No, awesome. It's an awesome page.
Thank you.
Before we round up, the final question is, what is dentistry to you? What's dentistry to Negi?
Oh my gosh. Dentistry to me is having the tools to be able to like, having the tools to like medically help somebody. But it's not only that, it's like forming your own little community and getting to know different people every day. And you know, we get so overwhelmed by trying to make like a big name for ourselves or having the biggest reach possible. But with dentistry, you have such small snippets of deep, important connections every day. And I think that's so valuable to like not only our lives, but like the patients that we are like encountering every single day. And you know, smiling, I don't stop smiling. If I couldn't smile, I don't know what I'd do, really. So I think it's so important. It's cheesy, but it's true, you know,
I
giving
like
people
that.
a smile.
I like that. Community. It's about people we serve. Yeah.
Exactly.
And what's next with the foreign philosophy? Have you got any projects that are coming up? Is it secret at the moment?
No, I don't have any secrets. So it's just kind of building my page, kind of growing on like the realness of dental school. You know, the ups and downs. It's absolutely fine to have downs. You know, making it fun for people. I just want it to be real. So that's why I love your page so much, because you know, it gives people such an honest view of, you know, where people have come from and where they're going now in terms of dentistry. And I think that's so important. Because growing up, I didn't have that many like dental role models, you know, they're not that, social media wasn't that big when I was kind of growing up. So I would love to be kind of that dental role model, especially for like women from the Middle East, from like women of color kind of thing, trying to make it big in the world.
You
It's
got
a
a lot
big
of
driving force for
Iranian
me.
dentists around?
Yeah. Yeah, there are many. I play into that stereotype so hard.
But no, thank you for coming on today. It's been a pleasure hearing your dental
Thank you.
journey, and I'm looking forward to seeing all that you're going to be posting and showcasing to the world. The best of Sweden.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
All right, guys, make sure to subscribe to tune into more videos like this, and I'll be putting Negi's details in the description, so make sure to check her out on the Instagram page, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
Awesome.